It's
It's time for a little Funky Friday. From their funky hidden headquarters, your hosts, Keith and Gary. Not Jerry.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Thank God It's Friday. I am here with the Healthy Comic Book Fan Community panel, which includes, of course, Clobbering Times, Purple Valkyrie, Stone Loki, and, of course, our co-host, Fat Steven Seagal, and my partner in crime, Keith Moncrief. And all the way over there, that's Chuck Dixon. Yeah. That is not Santa. I know you guys keep making that mistake, and you got to stop it. That is not Santa.
Oh.
Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Da-da-da.
I'm sorry. Oh, no.
I realize that I have now officially known you for 12 years.
Wow. Is that official?
That is official.
Who made that official?
IDW made it official because I met you right after working on your comic.
Okay.
And
right.
I was like,
in writing.
I'm like, fuck it. I worked on his comic. I got to say hi and not sound like an idiot.
Happy anniversary, Gary.
Well, it's not the anniversary, but this is the 12th year. And I was like going, holy shit, I have known him for 12 years. It's weird. And of course, Graham, I've always said, if you become friends with Chuck, inevitably you're going to become friends with Graham Nolan.
Yep.
And I consider you two of my favorite people to talk to online.
Well, thank you.
And I've had many a conversation with you, and you know, fuck it, you're an awesome dude. You and Mike Barron are like two peas in a pod sometimes. When I listen to the way he talks and the way you talk, it's like, holy crap. And how are you guys pretty chummy with each other?
I'm as chummy with Mike as you can be. We're still writers. So we're still wary of one another. You know?
Well, writers are a superstitious lot. You told me that many years ago.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but yeah, no, I love Mike. I always embarrass him whenever we're together with any third person because I just think he's fantastic. He set the bar. For me in the 80s, he set the bar. It wasn't Frank Miller and Alan Moore. It was Mike Barron setting the bar.
Nice.
I got to tell you, he was. Thank you, Scribe Life, $5, Mr. Dixon. Thank you for Punisher number 45, One Way Fair, the quintessential Punisher story, in my opinion. Every element of the character in his world, perfection.
My first Punisher story. I hit it out of the park, apparently.
There you go. Knocked it out of the park on the first swing. There you go. Okay. That's the way you do it. Mike Barron was on Lorena's lunch
Table.
Table. Yeah, thank you. God.
Hi, co-host from the show.
Yeah, you Steven. Oh, I'm Steven. I co-host. Anyway.
You forgot?
So anyways, while Mike Barron was on their show, we were messaging back and forth, and I kept messaging him to make up stories about you. I said, tell him about the time that Chuck Dixon crashed into your apartment and was drunk. And I'm laughing during the whole thing. It was funny. But yeah, I like the way both of you do one thing that I appreciate more than anything. You write real believable characters in real believable situations. And best of all, despite both your political standings, you do not put your politics into your writing.
No, nobody wants to read that.
No. And people are never going to fucking learn that are going to be fired this year.
Yeah.
We're seeing a big wave coming in both the comic and film industry.
The crest of that wave is Amazon's Lord of the Rings project.
Oh boy,
that's the one that's going to break them.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. You guys got any questions for Chuck on that subject?
I know what happened with the Hobbit and how he got through the copyright loophole. Actually, I do have a question. How do you feel of them reselling the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, but they're pandering it with the cover art for Wings of Power?
Yeah, well, they're going to do that. What's it cost them to just have a new cover thrown on there? And rope some idiots into thinking it's something different.
If they asked you to do a cover again for Lord of the Rings at all, would you ever take that chance?
You mean do a comic of the Lord of the Rings?
Oh no, I mean like if they ever asked you to do artwork, like I know you guys did The Hobbit, right? Because you're
I'm a writer, so.
Oh fuck you! I've seen some of your artwork.
Yeah, but I'm not.
You're saying if you were even approached, you wouldn't want to take it up and try?
Well, if they backed a truckload of money up to the house, sure, I'll do anything.
See, okay, so it just takes money. That's a great answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, like so many of us in the industry, you are also a whore.
Yes, you have to be. You have to be.
Isn't that the job technically?
Yeah, it technically is.
Yeah, I'm a crossover whore. I mean, you want to cross over 2 characters, I'm there. I'll do it. So.
Oh, get me Neil Diamond pants is ready.
Yeah. Salty Texas C, a good friend of ours. $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Chuck Dixon, thank you for working with the demanding Robert Jordan to produce the truly amazing Wheel of Time graphic novels. And great respect and appreciation for the Hobbit comic adaptation.
Yeah. To make it clear, Robert Jordan wasn't demanding. It was the work that was demanding. The guy was very hard to adapt into comics.
Yeah.
He did not lend himself to the 4-color medium.
Outstanding. Yeah. Lord Thoth, everybody's wishing you well here.
Thank you.
Let's
People of Earth.
People of Earth. Let's get into this, guys. Keith, first of all, you're my partner in crime here. What do you have to ask Chuck? Don't waste his time. No dumb questions.
Not too much pressure.
Oh man, you didn't say anything about not bringing dumb questions.
I want to hear the dumbest question you can ask.
Dude, is there comic book characters that run on black guy time?
Oh my god.
Oh jeez.
What?
Now I'm officially embarrassed.
Are you happy you're here, Chuck?
Yeah, I am. For now.
Wow. You know, if they were to back up the truck full of money for you to write another Punisher story, what would be, or who would be the villain that you would think could help you create, or, have the ultimate Punisher story for what we have today?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my first instinct, as it always is with the Punisher, is to find something that's going on now. I mean, Frank Castle would be in Ukraine. I mean, there's no freaking doubt about it. He'd be there. Not because he'd pick a side, but because it's a place that's lawless, and that's where he feels comfortable. So he would go there to settle some scores, because that's, so that's probably the story I'd write. And it wouldn't take a truckload of money. It would just take some guarantees from Marvel. They'd actually maybe market it.
And I am hoping that with some of these changes that are coming, that we're eventually going to see you back at Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we'll see. I'm not in any hurry. I'm not waiting for the phone to ring.
No. Chuck, I did have sorry. Go ahead, Loki.
You mentioned that last time. That's kind of what I wanted to base my question to you on is, you said, I'm not waiting for the phone to ring. I'll say whatever because I'm not really expecting a call. With the way things are going and the way the blame game is being played here, like what's going on with Ava DuVernay right now with her Naomi series, she's basically blaming everyone else. She's saying, oh, it's the Ist and the Obes and the Yahtzees and it's the white people's fault and this, I'm getting canceled and yada, yada, yada. She's pointing at her finger at everybody else, but she's not taking any responsibility for the shitty product she put out. And it seems like that's the way these people are dealing with their failures. They're getting more jobs and they're getting other books and they're getting more work, but they're blaming everyone else for their own failure, the failure in the art, the failure in the story. When you have a book that's rebooted 9 times in 1 year, there's a problem with that. And it seems like no one wants to take any responsibility for the work they're doing. They just want to blame everybody else.
It's easier.
Well, in comics, they always want to blame somebody else. I mean, I heard for years, well, comics aren't selling well because of video games. Well, explain the early 90s to me. Because there were video games, and we were kicking ass with comics.
Yeah.
So, and they always want to blame something. I mean, movies blame television. And then these creators, I mean, has entertainment ever been more democratic than it is right now? I mean, you literally have a bazillion choices of what to watch. And so you're voting when you watch it. Well, not enough people voted for her show, and she lost. That's just the way it is. And they weren't willing to continue to prop it up anymore, because I think that the entertainment industry, the money guys, are starting to realize this woke thing is hurting them. So they're willing to put a trap door under a lot of these projects. You know, these sweethearts, these darlings, because the money's not there. And when you got CW and it's run by AT&T, a company that's $150 billion in debt, they're just not going to tolerate this shit anymore.
No, I did have a question though. If given the opportunity to take your Punisher, your version of Punisher, and wipe out what they've done to Punisher recently with that weird Harry Potter skull thing with tusks, would you take up the reign to wipe that Punisher out and going, that is an imposter?
That's probably the only way I'd do it, is if you could just get rid of everything that happened, you know, since Garth Ennis stopped writing the Punisher.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, if given an opportunity at this point, given the way things are going, if, say, DC Comics were to come to you and say, Chuck, we'd like to have you back. We'd like to give you a guaranteed 3-year contract. What are the top 5 characters that you would like to write for right now that can pretty much replace anything that's been done to them over the last 5 to 10 years?
Wow, good question.
I've always wanted a shot at Superman. You know,
yes,
but it would have to be the way you described it, which I would have not necessarily a exclusive contract, but we used to call a continuity contract, which is, you know, I guarantee I'll write 12 issues of the book, and you guarantee you won't fire me. And we used to have that, and they used to welcome that. I used to get a bonus every year if I fulfilled my continuity contracts, which I did every year. So there would be, I would basically be paid for a 13th issue I didn't write. That would be the guarantee I would need. I would love, and with the Superman family, you got all of those characters. I would like a shot at that, because I think, you know, returning to Batman is like, you know, one of those TV reunion shows. It's like I had 11 years on the Batman characters. I'm not saying I said everything I had to say, but I said a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay. So Superman is one. What are 4 others? Because personally, I could see you doing a version of Green Lantern with Hal and John kicking ass, taking names.
Yeah, so, I mean, I wrote a little bit of Green Lantern. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the characters. I enjoy that universe. I enjoy the fact that it's, you know, a space opera, basically.
Yeah.
The other one is that, you know, I love the DC War comics. I would love to bring back any of those characters.
Black Hawk.
Well, no, I'm thinking Sergeant Rock, Haunted Tank, Johnny Cloud. You know,
ooh, yes.
You know, I'd love a shot at them. Man, I'm trying to think of others. You know, I mean, the Flash would be fun to write. Wonder Woman, I'd want to stay away from. That's where people wreck their careers. trying to make something out of Wonder Woman. I mean, I like the shot, but I don't know. You know, I don't have any ideas for it. So there we go.
Nice.
That's a great list there. I mean, I would love to see you get that kind of deal, both at DC and Marvel, because I think you could truly reset everything the proper way and come in and show these clowns that we've had the last few years how it's done.
Yeah, well, it's not just me. I mean, there's an army of underemployed comic talent out there who are still at the peak of their abilities. And they're not, you know, they're doing commissions, you know, which God bless them. They're able to make a living doing that, but they should be doing comics.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see these guys, and, you know, and a lot of them have gone off to do their own independent projects and been done very well with them. But, you know, you got a lot of other guys who are just sort of like treading water.
Okay, then how about this twist on my question? if I were to put you in charge of DC Comics, what are 2 other professionals that you would like to see come back with you, whether you've worked with them or not?
Well, I just want to see a monthly book by Jerry Ordway.
Yes.
Writing
Yes.
or drawing, or writing and drawing.
Oh my, yes.
Why? To me, I always say this: he's a symptom of what's wrong. That Jerry Ordway, who is still a freaking amazing artist. I mean, he's better than ever. Why he isn't working? Because I know why he isn't working. Because they don't see the value in it. They wouldn't know good art if they fell over it. So, you know, and he's, you know, he maybe he doesn't have the right ideas or didn't vote for the right person. I don't know what the reason is, but it's true of a lot of guys. It's like only Dan Jurgens seemed to hold on at DC of the old guard of guys who are actually talented. But you know, there's a number of guys I would work with, and I'm not sure if some of them are still in the business or not. A lot of guys have moved on to animation and storyboards, and they're probably better off for it. But,
well, I hear there's a rift between you and Graham Nolan that you'll never work with him again.
That's a vicious lie.
That's a vicious lie. Hey, Midnight's Edge, Tom, our good friend. And you've been on Midnight's Edge.
Yeah.
You've been on Midnight's Edge with Tom and Andre. Tom says, Chuck Dixon, one of my all-time favorite comic writers. Got to have you on again for a Conan special. Meanwhile, how is the Alias collection coming along?
Well, I mean, it's being printed. I've seen royalty checks. I haven't seen comps, so I can't hold one up and show you. But you know, all the artwork was completed almost 30 years ago, so it's coming a long time. But it's just finally seeing print. And you know, I'd love to come back on and do a Conan special. In fact, hint, hint, there may be a reason for me to want to be on a Conan special coming up.
Ooh,
nice.
Is this a scoop?
Yeah.
Did we make a scoop?
Well, you got a hint. You got a whisper.
We got a hint scoop. Anyway,
the rumor
I would love to
here.
see that, because Conan is really one of those rare properties where Marvel can't wokeify it because of the control by
to some extent.
The loincloths.
Yeah, that should happen, but I think it's really limited what they've been able to do, because the people that control the estate are really holding true to making sure that they don't fuck with Howard's work. And I kind of like that, because we're seeing so much of that shit with Amazon right now that seeing Conan being a holdout is nice. Yeah. So there's a hint that you might be working on something related to Conan in the future.
Yeah, there's very strong possibility.
Will he still be a barbarian if you work on him?
Well, yeah, he'll be horrible. He'll be just an awful person, like he should be.
Now, I do want to point out that Midnight Edge paid us $200. What the fuck is NOK? Does anybody know what that is?
Norwegian krona.
So I'm guessing it's like pennies to the dollar.
I'm so sorry, Andre. I'm so sorry,
Andre.
Oh, is that Andre that did that?
We love you, Andre.
Yeah, love you, Andre. Yeah.
I have no idea how much Norwegian money is worth these days. But this one is especially for you right now, Andre, if that is you, which I'm sure now it is. Here you go. This is just for you, Andre. Thank you.
Hey, Sweden. Not Swedish, Mac, the Norwegian.
Andre's a huge Conan fan.
Oh yeah.
I know that.
Okay, you can take it down, Martin. Thank you, my friend. Dork Knight is here. He's not on the show today because he's not an expert in Chuck Dixon, and that's the rule today. Wait, where did Steven go? We lost Steven.
Oh my!
I didn't hear the backup noise when he was leaving.
Well, you know, he's so fat. He's so fat. How fat is he? He can make love to 2 women at once and they'd never meet.
God.
He'll be
wow. I thought I was bad.
Well, when I saw the 200, I thought it was Tom and he was fucking with me, like paying pennies on the dollar kind of thing, North Korean or some shit. Tom's a really good friend of mine. I love him. I got to be on Midnight's Edge last night and I felt so out of place. You ever done that, Chuck? Yeah. Go and hang out with some of your people that you work alongside and then you just feel like the idiot in the room.
like you're in the wrong movie.
Yeah. That's how I felt last night. I told one of them afterward, because he's a close friend. I'm working with him on a comic. I said, man, you guys made me bring my A game, and I was too tired. I couldn't do it. But I may not be an expert, but I know enough. Shut up, Dork. And by the way, hello to your mother. PJO is here. That is Dork Knight's mom. And I should say hello to our amazing, we got like one of the best chats. Lord Thoth is here.
Hell yeah. Dave
Bob is here. Alex James. And of course, Dork Knight is here. And let's see. Brandon is here, who's a regular on our show. He'll be on our show tomorrow. We should get you on a Saturday show again, Chuck. I think you'd enjoy that one. It's a free-for-all. And let's see. Arwen is here, who's a regular on our show. We do a show with her.
Hey.
And this guy is really interesting with the name Emotionally Unstable Amphibian.
Okay.
I told him, I said, look, dude, I'm not going to call you that. I'm just going to call you Amphibian, because the rest of that's just unacceptable as a name. Salty Tax, of course, is here. Yeah. And War Monkey. Love all you guys. What a great chat. Viking is here. Purple's on the show, so stop chatting. Ask questions on the show, Purple. I know you're here.
I can do both. I can say hello as well.
No, you do whatever you want. I don't care. But I want to thank everyone. Oh, did I miss somebody? Brett Cohen is here from Australia.
Long lives, buddy.
Australia is Australian for beer.
Long live the Legion.
And Brett, as well as Mr. Tickle Trunk, all call me Geary, because my Jewish New York sister calls me Geary. She doesn't know how to pronounce my name correctly because she's from that Manhattan area. So, and Zax is here. Hey, buddy, it's good to see you. Steven's back. There he is.
Yeah.
Get him back up here with us. There we go. We're the three hosts of this show.
Thank you.
Because if you didn't know that, because you were on his show last week, Fat Steven is also the third host of this show. And so he's technically interviewing you twice in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And Loki was there too. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I thought I heard the garbage truck backing up.
Yeah, it was just a bag of his jokes.
So back on track here.
Okay.
I am curious. What kind of stories would you be interested in with Conan the Barbarian? Where would you go? Would you do young or older?
I'd probably like bounce around. Whatever period. Basically with Conan, you come up with the story and then you figure out where does it fit into his outline.
Where does it fit in with all? Yeah.
I want
which is your favorite
story? Well, it's got to fit in here.
Do you prefer like King Conan, or do you prefer when he's young and savage?
I like the young, savage, hungry, up and coming barbarian that Conan was as a younger man.
Yeah,
we need that. We really do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like just the mean son of a bitch out for himself.
Well, that's the best thing about Conan, because we're getting watered down men everywhere, and it's just you're not getting a role model of how it is just to be a civilized man anymore. Conan's not really civilized man, but testosterone, you don't have to use all of it like Conan, but you can balance out enough to open the door, not beat the crap out of the woman with the
door. Yeah, Lord Thought says savage sort of Conan, dude. Which is why I said it that way, Lord, if you didn't catch it. And Dork Knight, had an interesting question. And now that the Comics Code Authority is gone, do you think that they would have approved it by today's woke age?
Approve what?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If War Journal, if War Journal had a rating, what do you think it would have been? And that's where his question was going.
You mean back during the Comics Code thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I wrote to the code, so it was PG, I guess. Because I remember, they didn't like exit wounds. I remember hearing a lot about exit wounds.
Yeah, it's like I remember in the 90s, and not comic related, but TV related. I remember Fox had an issue with bullet hits when they had the show X-Files. And when anybody got shot, they couldn't show the bullet hit.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird. And for comics, it's really too. It's like I don't know. You read my Vindicated Ink, and you saw how graphic some of that combat shit that I do is. Yeah. And I was really grateful when you wrote that's my kind of comic, and I'm like, yay! I wrote his kind of comic.
Well, I mean, back in the day in Hollywood, they didn't like it when you showed a guy shooting another guy and it was all in screen. So that's why you get a lot of these scenes where they're shooting and another shot where the guy's falling.
Right.
They didn't want to see it all at one time. Weird.
Yeah. Well, you get weird shit like that, but I think the main problem today, and within Dork Knight's question, really is, with the current state of woke comics, you're not going to get really good visual stories to be told, and you're definitely not going to get the guts of the stories that guys like you and Mike Barron write. You're just not going to see that in today's comics.
The craft is gone and the heart is gone. I mean, there's no emotionality in the comics anymore. They're just, screeds.
As some would say, it's lost its anima, its life, its essence of what made it so great. And it really is, it's hollow. But we'll see a change in this. And what we have seen it in is with like your the company Arkham. Arkhaven, yes. I got it right here. Hold on. I'm going to show that. Arkhaven, here it is. All right, let it load. Let it load again. It was already loaded. I hate the internet. All right, share screen. Here we go. Boom, baby. Arkhaven. And this is yours, right?
Well, it's Vox Day's stage. I just play on it.
I like Vox. Cool dude.
Yeah, he's interesting. Is only the beginning of what Vox is. But it's a free digital service. It's high res. You can read them on your big screen TV. You can read them on any device. And I got a lot of material here. I got older material they're digitizing and reprinting in digital form. And then I got a lot of new stuff I'm doing. So
yeah, and then we'll head over here right now. Chuck Dixon's website at subscribestar.com/Chuck Dixon. And here's your page. Yeah, I accept. Yeah. And Chuck. That is so sweet. You're such a sweetheart.
Yeah, I'm not mean all the time.
I love it.
Chuck has a great thing with this when you're signing up to Subscribestar, right? You have a little gift package you send out to the with the postcard. Yeah. Is it Triggered the Tigger?
Yeah, Two Gun Tigger.
Two Gun Tigger, the grandpa. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I got the name Trigger Tigger. That's another one.
Here it is, Chuck Dixon on Twitter. It is at Dixonverse. I'll put it. Actually, I'm going to put the link in the chat for everybody. Sub to Chuck. And I noticed that you didn't send me the link to your YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah, I must have forgot. You're sending out links, and there's too many links. Damn it.
I see you guys
too many links, damn it.
I just want to, it's like I want to do one thing and just concentrate on that, but you can't anymore. You got to have, you can't have one story. You got to own them all.
Yeah, I concur.
I see you're getting close to 7 million views on Arkhaven. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's good. It's growing geometrically. We're getting to the next million faster and faster each time.
It's 6.6 million right now. Yeah. So it's going up, and it's going up right now as I'm looking at it. It just went up 3 while I was.
Oh yeah, it goes up. If you watch it, it just goes up constantly.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Just watch. Yeah,
just watch the number go up. It's fun.
Actually, I do want to say I'm so appreciative you posted that picture of him.
Yeah.
Yes.
We lost Fred Ward. Man. We lost Fred Ward last Sunday. That is a great mug of a man right there. I love that guy's face. And one of my favorite films, because I was in basic training and they took us out of training to go watch Miami Blues. Do you remember that?
What a great movie.
Fuck, I love that film so much. And I swear to God, I really do believe he's got false teeth. I really do. Because when he pulled them out, those did not look like fake gums. They looked like real gums. The distance, you can tell them.
Well, his face sank in. I mean, you can't fake that.
Yeah, you can't fake it. So I'm like, oh my God, he really has false teeth.
Right.
But what a great actor. And it's so sad that we lost him.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Remo Williams, too.
Yep.
Yes, Remo Williams.
Tremors was amazing.
And also,
love Tremors.
He was Gus Grissom too, and the right stuff.
Yes, the right stuff. We were talking about that.
That is the movie that taught me Screw the Pooch. He screwed the pooch, and I'm like, what is that? I love that, and I've used it ever since.
Did you see him in Cast a Deadly Spell? That was great.
Fuck yeah, it was the best one because they did another one and it was not as good. And it had what's his name, Jack Nicholson's buddy, and Dennis Hopper in the role. Just nowhere near as good. Cast a Deadly Spell was the best one with Detective Lovecraft.
Right.
But Levon's Trade by Chuck Dixon, a vigilante justice thriller, is available for free right now to premium members on Audible. So go check that shit out, guys. I already downloaded my copy.
Awesome.
So, I haven't listened to it yet. Who's reading it?
This guy Francis Kearney. I mean, I don't know much about these guys that do these things, but
Kearney. Okay.
I was real picky about who they got because I wanted a guy that could do the drawl. I wanted a guy with a little bit of a drawl in his voice, and they got me a guy that sounds good. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding. How are things with you and Stallone right now? Or can you talk about it?
I really don't. It's just this stuff sort of crawls along. COVID really just shot a big hole in a lot of productions.
Yeah,
because he had a really ambitious production slate before COVID.
Because he was wanting to do Levon, right?
Yeah. He wrote a bunch of episodes. But and then we're all kind of hoping with the amazing success that Jack Reacher has had, that Levon will definitely find a home somewhere.
I have a question though, Chuck, and take this on the satire side. What would you say if Gilbert Gottfried was still around, if he actually did the audio? Can you imagine that?
No, I don't. I think we can all imagine it, but no.
I think it'd be hilarious. But good. I wouldn't stop listening.
All I got to say to that is, okay.
Yeah, the thing with these voice actor guys is you get guys that they talk real fast. It's like they just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
And then you get guys. It's like the first couple of guys they sent me is like, well, this guy sounds like he grew up in Queens. I mean, it's just not right for a book about a guy from Alabama. It just doesn't sound right.
I'm walking here. Well, that has to go. Levon, what was it? Levon's Trade, brought to you by Iago the Parrot. No, I know that.
Iago the Parrot. Hey, Brandon, the anime guy, who is a part of our channel. He's on our Saturday show. Has become an official member to Pop Culture Minefield. Thank you, my friend. You're a good man. And I just noticed too, another friend of ours popped in. Two of them. Dragon Master 360 is here, and of course our very good friend Darius Munchausen. Good people. Let me see if anybody else popped in. Oh, yes. Maddie's daddy popped in.
Buddy.
Good.
What is
I don't
up?
think I've met you before. Good to meet you.
Good friend of mine.
One of Clobby's guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Legends of the Brave Bard by C.T. James. That is way too long of a name. You need to shorten that. I'm sorry. Stop it. Stop making long names. The First Tremors is my fave. Fred Ward. Yeah, great film. With a side of bacon. Yes, it's true. There was a side of bacon on that movie. Good film. And, we were talking about, I can't remember who said it earlier, but someone said something to me about, I think it was Mr. Tickletrunk said something about the fact that not only is that a cult film, it is also a really great film because it's got great characters. The characters are developed, and in such a way, not only are they developed, they're developed to interact a very specific way with each other, which you just don't get writing like that much anymore. And I kind of miss that kind of writing where you have characters that have a dynamic, and nowadays they just want to write characters to deliver dialogue and make a point.
Well, everything about that movie works. Every single aspect of it works. Even the way they set things up. You know how when you're watching a movie and you go, oh, they're setting this up. This is going to come back later, or I'm going to see this guy again.
Yeah, the whole foreshadowing thing.
Yeah, I mean, Jurassic Park Lost World, his daughter's a gymnast. Oh, I bet that won't come into play later. But in Tremors, there's all these setups you don't realize they're setups. I mean, the shaking soda cooler at the general store is set up so marvelously that it just seems like it serves a different purpose in that scene. It's not a setup. It's to show the relationship between Victor Wong and the two handymen. But it wasn't. It was to set up the suspense gag later in the film.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. And I'm a big fan of Ron Underwood, the guy who directed it.
Yeah.
Really a fun dude. He's put out some fun films over the years. I mean, since when did he start working? I can't remember. I think it was in the 80s or early 90s.
Yeah.
But and he worked on a lot of Monk, because that was like one of my favorite shows on TV. Even though they gave away the mystery at the beginning, I didn't care.
Yeah. I mean, that's another show like Tremors. Monk is just seamless. It's perfect writing. You can't fault any of it. Every aspect of it works. Actually, I use both Tremors and Monk all the time as examples of how you set up characters, how you develop things, how you develop.
I'm not surprised that you really like them that way, because they're really good stories.
Yeah, they are.
Told in a very good way. Dork actually has an interesting question here, because there have been several Punisher films and shows. Which one is your favorite iteration?
I don't really. They're not. None of them are perfect. I like the Thomas Jane portrayal. I don't necessarily like the movie.
The movie itself was goofy, and that was the problem.
Well, they had him playing detective, which they so often have him playing detective. Frank Castle's not a detective. Frank Castle is not working his way up to Mr. Big. He's perfectly happy mowing down street corner drug dealers.
Yes, yes.
And then Mr. Big comes for him. That's the punishment.
Right.
I hear you've wiped out 90%.
I'll just keep killing these people until somebody else shows up that wants me to stop.
I've wiped out 90% of Hell's Kitchen. I might as well go down there and see what's going on. There's something.
The end of that movie, I absolutely positively agree with you. He goes in, he wipes out all these bad guys, and then at the end he's like, I made you kill your best friend, I made you kill your wife, haha, you're gonna do yourself in. Instead of taking revenge himself and just wiping everybody out and walking out of the building, he's like, I set up this elaborate ruse and put all this time into making you do it yourself. And I'm like, dude, that's not Frank. And like you said, as much as I love the way he did it, it's like, no, that's not the Punisher. The Punisher just goes in and takes everybody out.
He's known for being clever. He's known for being blunt.
Yes.
He lives in the now. He has no future plans. Frank Castle does not know what he's doing tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Until he reads the paper.
By the way, I want to welcome Wakasashi's Tea House is here, good friend. And he had an interesting question. What was that? Chuck Dixon? The Chuck Dixon, legend. I love this work, his work on Batman back in the day. Well, no question, but he had a good statement.
It's me, the Chuck Dixon, the comic writer, not the pediatrician from Toronto.
Who isn't that either?
Hey, there's been a lack of English accent in this episode. Purple, come on. You've got to have a question for this man.
I do, absolutely. First of all, let me say how much I adore your work with Batman.
I want to have your baby.
That wasn't the question, but I can lead into that. I wanted to ask about the adaptations that you've done. So the Hobbit, the Wheel of Time, and most of all, I love the work that you did with Wildstorm, with the Nightmare on Elm Street. Are there other fantasy or horror IPs that you would like to work on?
Not really. For me, it all begins and ends with The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I mean, I quite honestly don't know why anybody bothers to write any other fantasy. They're kind of the final word on the subject.
Right.
So, there's not really anything else, any other area. It's not my favorite genre. I love Lord of the Rings. I love Hobbit, but fantasy's not a genre I read regularly.
Mm-hmm. What about horror? Because you wrote Freddy incredibly well, and especially in Freddy's War, the father-daughter relationship that you wrote, I thought was fantastic as well. Was he an easy character to get into the head of?
Yeah, I liked it. Initially, when Wildstorm got the New Line franchise, they gave me my pick. I got first choice, and I said it's Freddy or nothing. I don't care about those other characters. They're basically morons with machetes. I like Freddy because he was cerebral, and also it's more set in like. I like the contrast between the dream world and the real world, and the challenge of setting up a believable real world before we get to the fantasy world, and then figuring out, because you see the films, but you got to think about, what are his powers? What are the extent of his powers? What are Freddy's rules? And then work within that framework. And I like that kind of challenge. And
Yes.
I was the only one of those writers on those comics who didn't get shit from New Line on every script. I was never asked for a rewrite. My stuff sailed through no problem, and the other guys got grief constantly.
Yes.
So
Did you
obviously,
have a good working relationship with them?
yeah. I mean, I got it, I guess. I got it. But yeah, I loved working on that. And horror, I like horror, and horror is neat, but it's a challenge to write. It's like comedy. There's a lot of similarities between writing horror and writing comedy, because you got setups and payoffs and all the rest of it. And you got to get into the action quickly. So it was fun.
That's fantastic, and you really nail the characters.
I want to
so
cut in
thank
real
you.
quick, and then you can finish. Deleted Scenes is leaving. I just wanted to say, buddy, I hope you have a good day at work, buddy. He's a regular on our show, and he started this new job. I'm very happy for him right now. So anyway, Purple, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying how well the character was written. I would imagine, because obviously he's a larger-than-life character, it's hard to kind of get the voice right for him, because you can either go too jokey or you can go too dark. But to get that perfect balance, it was struck in the comics. So thank you.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from puns. Wordplay is okay. Puns, no, that's bad. It's kind of like James Bond takeaway lines. Okay. Wordplay fine. Puns, no, don't do that.
Do you have a favorite comical line from Freddy?
No, I can't. I can't remember stuff I wrote. Yeah, I look at stuff I wrote back then, and it's like, wow, I wrote this. I didn't even know I knew that word.
That's funny. It's like because I'll run into that every once in a while, and I'll go, wait, I did that?
Yeah,
some artwork or something I wrote, and I'm like, wait, that's mine? And I'm just like stunned. I'm like, oh crap, I didn't suck back then. Oh. But I am curious though. Do you have any plans with horror? Creating something in horror?
No, I'm not really.
Other than, of course, the Expendables in Hell.
Yeah, the Expendables in Hell. No, I really haven't touched on the horror genre recently. It's mostly been superheroes and action. And I'm working on some westerns. So
I'm going to assume that action, western, and war are your three favorite genres to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've kind of got that from reading your comics over the years, that you are definitely that guy.
Yeah, but I've never been a specialist, which is why I'm still here writing comics. So I like every genre. But yeah, westerns would be number one, war number two.
I mean, fuck, you worked on SpongeBob. A lot of people don't know that. And
I love working on SpongeBob.
Did every script you write get a green light each time?
Chris Duffy was my editor, and he's the one that brought me on, because he said, we're going to do a SpongeBob monthly. And he said, I'm calling you because we need content. I don't even know if you know who SpongeBob is, but we need content. And I said, yeah, I know who he is. I got kids who are just the right age. I mean, I've seen a lot of SpongeBob. So, I fell right into it. But yeah, I mean, dealing with him and dealing with Stephen Hillenburg was a joy. Hillenburg would always, suggest, well, what if he did this to make it just a little funnier? And it always worked. I mean, he made it a little funnier. But Chris and I would have these long conversations about, like, how stupid is Patrick? And I miss working on the book just because I miss those conversations.
Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? Chuck Dixon. I would imagine. Now, are you going to continue doing SpongeBob, or are you done?
No. They canceled the book when Hillenburg got ill, and he passed away.
Oh,
and it was his book. I mean, he had the comic rights. He retained the comic rights. So it was all him driving it, and without him, there's no reason to do it anymore.
Man,
now, you made me bring the room down.
Yeah, now we're all depressed. I mean, it wasn't bad enough when Fred Ward died. Now we found out you're not working on SpongeBob.
Yeah.
He has probably a lot of other projects coming that will bring us right back up. So
yeah, I'm sure I'll keep you busy.
I don't know. I just don't care anymore. Like, what do you have down the pipe? Original stuff, not just working for others.
Well, there's so much stuff I can't talk about. I've got 2 Levon Cade novels, like, in the wings that I completed, and I got all the stuff I'm working on I can't talk about because it hasn't been announced yet. But two of them are household name characters. It's just your jaw's going to drop when you hear about them. So
Can't wait.
Mr. Clean.
Some of
Yeah,
us
there you
might
go.
already
It's
know
the Clean.
about
Wow, man.
That's right.
I made it so easy.
But any other questions here, guys? Come on, man.
Yeah, I do have one more.
I haven't heard Clobby say a fucking thing yet.
If you want to go, Clobby, you can go
No,
right
you
ahead.
go first. I got something that's obscure because a couple of them are ones that you guys touched on. I would have asked, but I got an obscure one. Go ahead, Loki, first.
Back when you started, there was this level of you kind of got to prove yourself. You have to work your way up in the business. Like if you wanted to be in comics, you go and be please give me a job. Well, maybe you can run our mail back and forth, get us coffee, whatever. And eventually they would be like, okay, you paid your dues, kid. Here, learn from the masters how to do what you do. That doesn't really exist anymore. It's like, well, this person is entitled for this job, so they're going to get this job. It's not about, being the best at what you do anymore. It's more of, well, you've got the equity built up because blah, 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 or you're this or you're that. You can have the job now. Do you think that is what is bringing everything down? Or is it just the stupidity of these people that think they can create things when they can't? They just seem to be able to take something that's already there and ruin it for everybody.
Well, it's stupidity combined with credentialism and careerism. I mean, most of the people working on comics today on the, the editor level, they're careerists. They're not interested in comics. They're interested in working at Vogue or Vanity Fair or working for MTV. And they think that, well, a little while at DC Comics and Marvel Comics will look cool in their resume. And, back when I was in comics big time, we were all lifers. We were all in it till we died.
Yeah.
And we were all about comics and just making them better and doing quality work and all the rest of it. And when I broke in, I worked in children's books and stuff like that, kept taking a run at comics. I didn't want one of those kiss-ass gopher jobs. I didn't want to get in that way. I wanted to get in on the merit of my work, and so back then it was all about finding an editor who had faith in you. And then the doors opened. Cool. And then you could prove yourself. But now, basically, who'd you go to school with, I think is a big part of it.
And that's really interesting that you say it like that, because like I know Steven knows this, me and him have talked about this. The gaming industry very much is at the point now where it's not about what you do, it's not about your work, it's not about anything. It's, well, we're going to use this, especially the like magazines like IGN, they're not even magazines anymore, but we just want this job because we want to be a political correspondent one day, or we want this. Those aren't people that love video games. They're not people that get into it because they love it. And that's what it sounds like you're saying, is nobody's getting into it because they love it. They're just looking at it as like, well, this is a stepping stone to something else. That really sucks.
Well, it started in the early 2000s when, the people in charge were thinking about that they were going to have a career in Hollywood. That they were going to move up and be producers and things like that, which never going to happen. Comics is a ghetto. It's always going to be a ghetto, and Hollywood looks at it that way. But these guys had dreams that I'm going to be a big shot, in Tinseltown, and it was never going to happen. And then it moved on from hiring, they started doing woke hires. Well, we need more female editors. We need more editors that are people of color, a term I hate. And it wasn't done on the merits. It wasn't done on the love. So they had to reach outside of the comic circle to bring these people in. And then they began hiring each other. So,
it's such arrogance, Chuck, to assume that they need your hand to get up. It's Star Trek. Here you go.
Sheer fucking hubris.
That's what all of them are filled with. And it's what's destroying them.
There's something I actually want to attach to what Gary said as well as Loki said, and this is directed at you, Chuck. Do you believe there is also a virus or a toxin within these industries that failing upwards. The worse you do, no matter how bad it is, you keep getting handed things and going up the chain rather than realizing the criticism.
Getting weeded out. Yeah.
Like, is there a problem with failing upwards over, like you saying, even if it's a ghetto, there's still people who care about the ghetto trying to save the ghetto, but you're getting this icing on the cake that is literally failing at every property they're giving, and they're failing upwards while destroying everything that they're being handed. And you're seeing things like Batman or Punisher or Iron Man or even Airboy. Any of these types of things are being trampled on with ideology and activism, and then they're treating the fans like crap. They're treating people like crap, and yet they're handed something else as a like, oh, here you go, you did a great job. You just called all those people's Yahtzees. Go on up to the next floor of heaven. Is that like a virus that will ever end, or do you think this will spread throughout everything?
Well, you see it across the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
I mean, why Akiva Goldsman isn't selling oranges along the highway?
I know, the guy's a fucking idiot. He's so fucking dumb.
I mean,
So
you got
terrible.
all these. What's that guy, Damon Lindenhoff? I mean,
He's bad.
He's another one.
why would anybody give him millions of dollars for anything that came out of his head? J.J.
Chris
Abrams,
Chibnall,
like every other franchise is J.J.
Kirkman.
Abrams.
They're all idiots. They're terrible writers.
It's like there's 6 people in Hollywood and they hand it all off to them. And there's other talented people. Just take a chance on a newcomer.
Here's another one.
That actually had
Here's
success.
another one that Jeff Johns, absolute garbage fucking writer.
I don't want to tear down a fellow comic guy, but
I'll do it for you.
He's been a good comic book writer.
Movie guys, because it's like, David Koepp is another one. I mean, why would anybody ever let him write another screenplay? But they pay him millions, and it's like, well, look at the freaking box office. This guy's a loser.
Yeah. Hey, we have somebody in the audience right now in the chat. Hey, 24/7, let me know. 24/7 is a big comic guy, and he's one of our partners. We do a show together called Scoop Zone, which we talk about Mikey Sutton's scoops. I don't know if you know who Mikey is. He was voted last year #1 scooper. Absolutely accurate. One of the best guys in the industry. And we're partners with him, and we do a lot of work with him. And 24 is part of that show. If you want to come on the show, 24, say it in the chat, and I'll send you an invite, because I know you would love to meet Chuck Dixon, because I know you would.
Thank you, though, Chuck. Seriously, thank you for answering my questions. I know I threw some weird questions out, not exactly work
you're
questions.
A weird guy, Loki. It's okay.
It's just the industry, the way the industry works and the way it has changed. I'm very interested in that, and I really appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions.
I mean, just
thank you, sir.
It makes us all sad, creators and consumers. It's like, why can't it be better? And it could be.
Yeah, because we want to buy stuff, and they're not making stuff we want to buy.
Yeah.
Yes. Why am I driving an hour out?
Give them our money.
Yes.
We would love to do it.
Why am I driving an hour out to the comic shop to buy 20-year-old comics? Why? And I might see one thing that's like, oh, well, this is a specialty thing, limited edition. I may spend $5 on that, but I'm not going and spending on anything new. Everything is the stuff from the 80s, the 90s, and earlier. I can't buy. I can't spend the money on it. I just won't.
Well, their job is to entertain us, but apparently they think their job is to piss us all off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think literally they plan on doing that. Like, well, how angry will this make the Star Trek fans? How angry will the Star Wars fans be when we do this? It reminds me of back when they had production meetings for the TV show Friends, and they were all a Twitter because they were going to put a lesbian wedding in the show. And they go, well, how much will this piss off the Christian right? It's a situation comedy. You shouldn't be thinking about making people mad.
Why would you? Yeah,
why would
you want to do that?
And in the end, they had a lesbian wedding, and nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
I would like to quickly apologize. Firstly, Klobby, you had a question. I kind of overstepped that. So do you want
That's
to do
okay. No. All the good ones have been asked, but I can
ask your question. There's no bad question.
Firstly, my statement, Chuck, I don't think you get enough accolades for Bruce Wayne, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I just want that. No, I love
a cult
that.
favorite. That is a cult favorite.
I love that. That amalgam line. I mean, were there any other ideas if they'd have you write another one that you would have thrown together? I know they did some pretty good ones.
No, they just sort of handed them to you. I mean, I was handed Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That was a fun one.
You didn't pitch them. They just said, hey, they sort of casted them. Here's one. You take it.
Well, last time I asked you a question before, back when we did that show on Loki a while back, I asked you, you touched on a little bit your origins of the character of Bane and how they kind of connected in some ways to Doc Savage.
Yeah, I mean, early on, we thought of him as an evil Doc Savage, intellectually and physically superior, just a guy who could do anything he set his mind to. And he had his little cast of friends. A lot of that came from the fact that Graham Nolan is just a huge Doc Savage fan. So it was a bit of influence there from Graham.
Well, along those lines, I know you wrote the fandom for Moonstone. Were there any other those types of Phantom's not a pulp character like Doc Savage, he's a strip character, but any of the pulp characters like Doc Savage or anyone, things like that, are similar to the Phantom that you would like to have written?
Yeah, Doc Savage doesn't really interest me. I did an Airboy meets G8.
Whoa, that shocked me. Really?
Yeah. Wow. So I think that was from Moonstone.
An Airboy what now?
Airboy meets G8.
Yes. Oh, G8 is Battle Aces. Yes, that's a pulp.
Yeah, I did a crossover for Moonstone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Shadow. I like the Spider. Sort of a meaner version of the Shadow. Yeah, I like that stuff. I've never really thought about writing it. It's one of those things, especially the period of time I came up in comics, the pulps were still a big deal and everybody wanted to write their version of different pulp characters. But I was just like, hey, I just love the medium. I just want to write comics. Just give me something.
Well, along the lines of comics writing, of the question that I've always been interested in is that there was a time, and I don't know, and you probably, since you were in the biz big time at the time, you might be able to give me an idea when this was. When they started, are you familiar with the phrase "write for the trade"?
Yeah.
I mean, when there was a time when, I don't know when this started, I guess when trades started getting big.
It's like late 90s.
Yes.
Right for the trade.
Yes. Well, you might have a story. Now, how did that usually work? Did you have a story like, let's say you went in with an idea for a couple of issues, and then they say, you need to stretch that out so we can do a trade of that. And all these, was that a big thing that was going on that you dealt with? Because it sure seemed to be something that happened for a lot of stories at the time.
Well, I was lucky enough to be in the bat offices. So I had Denny O'Neil. And his three associates, Scott Peterson, Darren Vincenzo, Jordan Gorfinkel. I mean, these guys were deep into the lore. These guys were lifers. These guys were dedicated. So we had a lot of conversations about what did write for the trade mean. Mm-hmm. And to not cheat the readers, to get the most out of it, because we realized every 6 issues is going to end up in a trade.
Yeah.
So it was simply a matter of thinking of 6-issue chunks, right?
Yeah.
So you might write a 2-parter, a standalone, and a 3-parter. It was as simple as that, And then we started thinking longer term, particularly on Nightwing. I mean, the first year of Nightwing is divided into 2 6-issue epics that together tell an entire 12-issue epic. Mm-hmm. But we made sure we were very aware that the reader got a complete story, that it wasn't a continuation. It wasn't, they didn't have to buy the next one, that it was a satisfying reading experience, the same as a novel or a feature film. And then that's what we were. Now, when they started talking about decompressing, and now I've got all kinds of room for the shit I always wanted to do. No, we didn't want any of that. It was still regular comics because you still had the monthly comic reader to satisfy, because he was the one who was giving you the money to make the trade.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At the time, it was getting frustrating. I like the idea of the shorter stories. Short stories. I mean, you're a writer. You must like. I don't know if you feel how you feel about short stories as opposed to long sagas, but it just, as a reader, I was always getting a little tired of that around that time you're mentioning, where people were stretching stories out, where like, man, that could have been told in 1 or 2 issues. So I was just wondering about that, if that was a trend, and bothered you as a writer. Shorter is harder
to write, but every once in a while you come up with this gem. It's like, wow, this would be a perfect 20-page story.
Yeah,
it's all inclusive. But yeah, sure. I mean, when they come and say we need an 8-pager, that's a bear. If they say we need a 3-issue miniseries, no problem. We need an 8-page story. We got to introduce the character, have shit happen, and have a resolution. And it's like, well, that's not easy.
American Comics rarely did that. 2000 AD and some of those other ones, they were the 8-part stories. So, or the 8-pagers like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jared.
No, that was me, but it's okay. Keep going, Chuck.
No, I'm good. I'm sorry, but thank you for that answer. I've always been wondering about the whole right for the trade thing, and I've never really been able to ask anyone in the biz at the time, who knew about it. So thank you.
Sure.
There is one thing I wanted to ask. I don't know if you have any inclination or any knowledge when it comes to manga or anime. But if you do, is there anything from that specific field that you've heard about that you would actually want to write for, like things like One Punch Man or My Hero Academia, or bring like a new, like I would love to see your hand work on Trigun. And Trigun is like a sci-fi Western. And I think you would have something about that you might actually love, but unless you're totally like, not that crap, I'm out of here. Too much weird shit.
The problem, well, it's not a problem with manga, is that manga is so closely associated with the people who created it.
Yeah.
That you're not really taking on a franchise, you're taking on another person's work. And I always kind of don't want to do that. I'm not
drinking cough medicine. Sorry, I'm not drinking cough medicine. Whoever's typing that in the back, I'm not drinking cough. My Starbucks cup.
Somebody says, Steven to stop drinking cough medicine.
I don't drink cough medicine. I mix it with Kahlua. Shut up.
Well, you're calling Clobby Chuck. You're calling Clobby Chuck, and you're stumbling over your own.
I'm sorry. I'm
words,
surrounded by almost beautiful men everywhere. How about that? Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, he doesn't drink cough medicine. He freezes it and breaks it like a pollen.
That's right. I use it like a popsicle. I fill up the ice cream trays.
Nom nom nom.
You fat bastard. And pops. Nom nom nom.
God.
All right.
When can I have your collection of statues? I'm going to ask for the third time.
Okay. Yeah. I'll write that in the will.
Thank you. Behave yourself. Come on, Gary. You're having way too much fun because Dork's not here.
There's two videos I've been wanting to play, but I was told that YouTube would gank the shit out of me if I play them. That I thought you would be amused by. And I'm not going to do it. Damn it. I really would like to, but fuck it. But there's this one because I drink a lot of coffee, and as a veteran, this made me laugh. I want to see your reaction.
Hey, here's your free cup of coffee from a lady in Rhode Island. What?
I don't know why that makes me laugh, but that is fucked up.
It used to be a roll up the rim cartoon.
It used to be a what?
Never mind. Canadian Tim Hortons thing. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. But I can't remember. Somebody was wanting something in the chat. What was it? We need a clip of Falcon telling the entertainment industry you need to do better. Yeah, I could probably make that, but not now. But I'll save that for another show. Fat Steven says, fuck you. And Fat Steven says it's coffee. There we go. Thanks, Fat Steven. Great.
Thank you for the private chat there.
No problem, because there's nothing private on this show.
We're here at Pop Culture Minefield. Fuck your feelings.
Here you go. No, here you go. Wow. Worst host ever.
Aren't you the host?
I am. That's what I'm doing. I'm a dick. I get it. But Chuck flexing. There you go. Hey, how is it down in Florida right now? How's the weather?
Free. That's what it is down in Florida. We're free.
Liberty. We are so liberatus.
You're going to see, a couple of years, you're going to see the DeSantis story written by Chuck Dixon.
There you go.
Watch as the world loses their shit.
We're going to make Disney pay in blood.
That is, I got to tell you, dude, DeSantis has some fucking balls.
He does.
That blew my mind, impressed me, because I've not been a big fan of his. And then all of a sudden he did that, and I'm like, I love him.
Come out swinging.
Yeah, if you've ever driven down I-4, you're like, yeah, please, get rid of this place. It's Disney World shit. It's ruining the whole state.
And I've also suggested many times to Mike Barron that he should do a follow-up Florida Man, and it all be about you.
A guy who never leaves his house.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Just
people.
Always looking out, seeing shit happening.
He's peeping out the window. There are a lot of ugly people in your neighborhood. Oh, look at that one.
Yeah, I just bought an acre in a very much a Florida Man subdivision. We're gonna put a barn up on the property, but it's one of these anything goes, no home association. And you should see the places back there, nice. Man. It's a mixture of mansions and places that look like they're going to fall down tomorrow. So amazing. I love it.
Kind of reminds me because our mutual friend Richard Bonk lives in Florida too.
Yep.
He's over on the Panhandle over in.
He's up on the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, dude, I lived in Jacksonville. What a shithole. I hated living there. I'm like,
not a fan of Jacksonville.
Oh my God. It was, when I was there in the 70s, it was just a swamp. And in our house, the front yard faced the swamp. In the backyard, we had a fishing pier built, and it was a saltwater canal. So sharks and everything were in our canal. So as a little boy, I was completely fucking terrified.
Yep.
I hated it. What they would say, somebody asked me one time, what was the most common thing for you to deal with there? I said, I was just crying all the time, begging my dad to go back to either Arizona or Florida. Illinois. I fucking hated it. I witnessed the guy being dragged out of the ocean that had been mauled. My pet duck, my dad to cheer me up, bought me a pet duck on the first rainy day. I took it out to the gutter, and there's a pipe that goes to the swamp across the street under the road. Juvenile alligator swam through and killed my duck right in front of me. And this Vietnam vet comes running out with a rifle and just shoots the shit out of that fucking alligator. And fucking killed my duck. My duck was dead. And I'm just like, wow. I told my dad, I want to eat him. I fucking ate the duck and I ate that alligator too.
Is anyone else picturing Gary right now going back on that saltwater dock and his dad just blasting through the speakers the Jaws theme?
No, it hadn't come out yet. It had not come out yet. This is back in 72, 73. And that was when I bought my first comic book. There was a little wood gas station store that we ran into on the way to Florida. And I had a choice between an article on, I think it was the Globe or the Sun, about Bruce Lee with the first money I ever got for chores. And I saw Batman Swamp Thing crossover.
Oh,
Bernie
wow.
Wrightson.
Swamp Thing number 7.
Yep. And
Cool.
I fucking bought that. That was the very first comic.
Greatness.
I had it all the way.
Classic.
Since I've known you, I had it.
Wow.
And I finally got Bernie to sign it. And he signed it just joyfully. And he wrote a nice thing in it, personalized. And then some bitch fucking stole it for drugs. And I've never been able to find it.
I'm sorry. I needed cough syrup.
Damn, dude. Oh, man.
Clark Thomas says that was some origin story.
Bernie was great. And that's sad to hear that, man. I'm telling you what, that's Swamp Thing number 7. It's one of the greatest comics ever. That covers one of the greatest covers ever by Bernie Wrightson.
Because of Code Word Geronimo, when I did that for IDW, I got a special guest seat at Comic Palooza down in Texas. Is that Houston? Houston, I think. And guess who sat next to me? Bernie Wrightson.
Nice fella.
I got to know him, and it was just so nice. And he bought my book, and then he signed my comic, and I was so happy. I was like a baby.
Wow.
I do have a question to ask Chuck, and I don't know if you.
Well, I wanted to ask him about Bernie, if it's okay.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to me.
Did you ever get to know him, work with him?
I went to a New York Comic Con, and I'm going to start with Al Williamson. I've met Al Williamson a few times.
Oh my God, he's my hero.
Love him.
Okay,
awesome dude, just awesome, just one of the most charming guys you'd ever want to meet. I didn't know him that well. I knew him in passing, and but I'd always heard about Al. He'd never say a bad word about anybody. Al's just the nicest guy. He just loves everybody, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm at the New York Comic Con. I'm in the lobby of the Statler Hilton. I'm crossing the lobby, and there's Al at the bar with this other guy at a table. And Al says, Chuck, come over here. I got something to tell you. I go over, and Al starts ragging on this artist we both knew. I mean, he just hated this guy. Just went on and on about what a bastard this guy was.
Whoa.
Because he knew I knew him too, right? So I was a kindred spirit. And this other guy at the table is laughing and making remarks and everything else, while Al just rants. And it's like, this is a side of Al no one had ever seen before. And so then we sat down and had a nice conversation for like 45 minutes. And then I went up to my room, and it wasn't till later I found out the other guy at the table was Bernie Wrightson.
Oh my goodness. I guess you can't tell us who the artist is, or like, you probably don't want to tell us.
No, I don't want to tell who the artist is.
But
man, Al did not like this guy. And,
wow.
And I told people this story after. Whoa, yeah, he really didn't like that guy.
It wasn't Vinnie Coletta, was it?
No.
No, he's not going to tell you. He's not.
No, I'm just messing. I knew it was
somebody.
But,
they had really done him wrong because Al was a nice guy. He'd welcome me into his house, and this guy just took advantage. So
the nicest thing ever said about me was by Tom Waltz at IDW. He said that I was this generation's Al Williamson.
Wow.
Even though I'm not, I fucking love that he said that, because Al Williamson was the single most influential artist on my drawing. Because he didn't draw like a comic book artist; he was an illustrator.
Yeah, like a strip artist mostly. He was so heavily influenced by Alex Raymond. Of course, he was a great Flash Gordon and Star Wars artist. Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I met Al was the very first convention I ever went to. It was 1971 in New York. Wow. I was a fan, and I went to see Alex Toth give the keynote address.
Oh, wow.
And Alex Toth, if you ever saw him speak, he would just tear the room apart. I mean, he didn't care what he said, right? Wow. And he had the audience all worked up, and then and it was it was standing room only audience. And he says, so does anybody have any questions? And this guy sitting like 2 seats away from me gets up and raises his hand. He says, I have a question. And Alex Toth says, yeah, what's your question? And the guy says, can I go use the men's room now? and then Alex Toth says, ladies and gentlemen, Al Williamson.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Chuck,
what was that?
I mean, if you don't know, Alex Toth opened the keynote address I saw him at with 90% of what you see in American comic books today is pure crap. And then he went on from there. And then I heard that at another show, he was introduced by Stan Lee, and his opening remarks were, as usual, Stan doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, that's for sure. I love him even more now, and I love Alex Toth.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Stan Lee, but man, yeah, he was a huckster, dude.
He was a hustler. I love him for that, though, because
he helped make comics what they were by doing
comics needed a guy like Stan Lee.
He was P.T. Barnum of the comics industry.
He was that. Yep. Very true.
And I got to work with the guy. The guy was very generous, super nice guy, you know. So
at WizardCon, I was a guest down there, same year for Code Word Geronimo, 2011. And I was walking by trying to find a bathroom, and there's Stan Lee. There's Stan Lee. And some guy starts, heckling him, yelling. He says, taking credit from Jack Kirby, taking credit. And he started laying a litany of people.
That was me. Wow.
And yeah, it was you. And remember what I said to you? I said, and what the fuck have you done to earn a chance to talk to this fucking guy? What have you done? Nothing.
And I called you out, and we had a big bloody knife fight.
I know.
We patched it up
that night. We got drunk and made out. It was really weird crazy night, dude.
Picture it didn't happen. Yeah.
No pics.
Yeah, don't fucking do that shit with me, Loki. I'll fucking go with your story.
No. No. N-O. No.
While we're on this, Gary, while we're on that subject of the industry, I don't like to bring it down, but we lost 2 giants over the past 2 weeks of Chuck's field.
Yes.
Neil Adams and George Perez. So,
Neil Adams. Oh, my God.
I don't know if you knew those gentlemen.
And Perez. Jeez, dude.
In 2 weeks, man.
I'll tell you a funny George story. When I was at CrossGen, the second anniversary, they held this big dinner at a country club. It was a big, expensive affair. We all had to dress up. I mean, I was in a tux. And so we're all sitting, and they sit me with George. So I'm sitting next to George, and Mark Alessi comes out, and he gives a little speech. And he begins the speech with, I'm a wealthy man. And George turns to me and says, we'll take care of that.
Wow.
Man, I bet you've got a lot of stories.
I don't have a lot of stories with George. I didn't have that much of I ghost wrote an issue at CrossGen for him. That's the closest I ever came to working with him. Wow. And he wasn't at CrossGen. He would visit now and again, and I really didn't cross paths with him that often.
Yeah.
That's true. We lost him on Free Comic Book Day. That's right.
Yeah.
That's like Chuck Schultz dying on the day he retired.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We had some advanced notice on George. Didn't make it any better, but Neil was kind of a sudden.
Well, he was sick. We knew that he'd been sick,
but...
and when they stepped up and did celebration of his artwork, that should have been our warning. That we were getting ready to lose him.
Damn.
There is one thing I want to ask Chuck without trying to bring it back up.
Just one thing? Okay.
Oh boy.
Go for it, buddy.
I'm waiting for the next joke he's holding on to. So
shut up. You're slowing the show down. Move on, mother.
Oh, I'm showing to slow down. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Showing the slow down? Yeah, you're showing the slow down.
All right, 292. The question is, Chuck, I've seen a lot of people who actually have done 3D printing of themselves. Are you ever going to be doing a Chuck Dixon kind of figure, whether for your subscribe store or for members, where they can actually have a 3D printed character of you, like you sent the images when we were doing our thumbnails of like your favorite drawings, and have like a printout for people? Like, because I think that'd be a pretty cool thing to have.
Yeah, it's not something I've ever really thought of now.
But here, I want you to really think about this, Chuck. Now think about this. You could actually start something that could really help the industry, and it would be called the Chuck Dixon Creators of Comics That Don't Suck Award.
No. What I'm trying to say, when you sent us remember the black and white picture you had yourselves around, you had Robin and everyone else. And
yeah.
Picture, even printing off like bookends like that or something that companies want. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but
no, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just not, I'm not. I was in a meeting with some people, a Zoom meeting the other day, and it's about the comic project and moving into other media and things like that. And they kept wanting to come up with names for these different projects, and they all wanted to have my name in the project. And I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't want to be Stan Lee, or be accused of being what Stan Lee was always accused of being. I said, I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the work. I want it to be about, the stuff I'm creating. So I'm always been an invisible hand writer. I've always been the guy behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm not the shameless self-promotion thing. I don't have that gene.
I didn't mean it's self-promotion. I just meant it's like.
Oh yeah, I know.
But like, I get what you're saying. So you don't ever want to see your face on a Funko Pop on your shelf? You're like, there's.
Hey, if they want to do it, like I said, truckload of money. Yeah, okay. Let's talk.
I'm telling you, let's do this award. The Chuck Dixon Your Comic Doesn't Suck Award. It goes to one comic creator a year, and I will sculpt your fucking face because you see my sculptures. I'm really good. And I think that'd be a great fucking award to give out to somebody.
Yeah, the Dixon Doesn't Suck.
And the funniest part is we can also do one called the Chucky and put Graham's head on it. For artists who are okay.
That's for like a good try.
Nice try. Well done.
I want this.
Thanks for showing up.
This is for showing up award. There you go. Hey, I wanted to mention that our friend 24/7 is here. He finally joined us. 24 is a huge comic book fan.
Hey, buddy.
And 24, man, introduce yourself. Let me put us to normal size for a second. Here's 24.
All right.
Down at the bottom right.
Chuck already knows who I am.
Yeah.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah, I love 24's voice. Yeah, man. It's just cool.
Nah, it's cool. I was cool.
It's
cool. Actually,
you remember the time I blew that shit up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not close enough, Fats. You're not fat.
You remember that time I blew shit up?
You got any questions for Chuck today, buddy?
Ooh.
Come on. I know you do. Let me bring you up here with me.
Nah, I appreciate that. Oh shit.
Does that make a difference?
I don't think he's even here right now.
You just you're oppressing the black guy.
It lets Steven know it's not his turn to ask a question now. It's 24's.
Oh. Come on,
actually,
spotlight's on you, dude.
Yeah, actually. Oh shit. I know that I asked him a few questions about a week or so ago, but now that we're here again, I was kind of curious.
Repeat questions are good, dude.
No, I'm not gonna. I mean, he's
Chuck loves redundancy.
Yeah, come on, man.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, I was actually curious. What's your favorite music?
Music? Oh man, everybody thinks they're esoteric with their music. I mean, I feel the same way. I like everything from bluegrass to trip hop to, my playlist has like everything on it.
Right there with you, brother. Right there with you.
I was kind of famous at CrossGen for the playlist on my computer because people would come in and go, my God, there's nothing you don't listen to. I can stand a little bit of everything. I think 5 minutes of reggae is enough for 1 year. But, so I just sort of mix it up, little bit of everything. So it's hard to pin down. But apparently, according to my playlist, because it plays randomly on my computer, apparently I really like Blondie.
Oh, Blondie. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Who does it?
The Rapture. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah. I have every mix of the Rapture you can think of.
All right, you have a pretty big like record collection.
Yeah, I have CDs. I got rid of my records a long time ago.
Oh, come on, man! You got rid of your vinyl.
I got rid of my vinyl. Look, I lived through vinyl. Vinyl sucked. I hate to tell everybody this.
Everybody that grew up on vinyl were looking forward to CDs.
Yeah, I mean, you had to clean your records.
Right.
Make
sure they don't pop.
Yeah, and then they went to that cheaper vinyl, and
right.
Yeah, it was a nightmare when CDs came along. It was great.
Oh, so you didn't like the 45s?
No, I mean I had them because that was the only way to do it. It was like, this is it. I'm listening to Top 40 radio because that's the only thing to listen to. I'm watching 3 TV stations because that's all there is. Right. And all I can do is buy LPs or 45s. I had lots of them. I had hundreds of them. And I finally, I was moving here, moving there, and I finally just said, screw it. And I called Tom Lyle. I said, you want my records? And he said, oh, yeah. And he came over and got them.
Oh, just like that. Yeah, that's when it comes to physical media, when people have been sitting there and they've been carrying their crates of records, for so many years, it gets to the point where I've seen some of them break and be like, yo, somebody come pick this shit up, so. But it's like nowadays, it's like we can't find enough of it, and it's like there's a lot of things that are on records that'll never see CD or
tell me about it.
And with that, it's a lot of things on VHS, like on that'll never see a DVD, let alone Blu-ray or 4K. So. Absolutely. I was just wondering, where you at on the physical media, because a lot of it's, some people get their hands on some of this stuff. I mean, a lot of things are getting butchered and edited, and you got Disney fucking censoring their own shit, and it's like, it's crazy how that's being done to like music and TV shows and movies and certain things that. We used to see randomly, all the time as kids. We will never see again, just because, some company owns it and never would like to see it see the light of day again. And the only time
they want to trim stuff out of it,
right? Exactly. And the only way we can get to see it in its entirety is either on VHS, or if before the company got bought out, if you could have gotten a copy of it, if they released something on DVD. Then you were lucky to get that, and that's, I'll give you an example. Like right here, I have this. You remember back in the 70s, you have like the Secrets of ISIS.
Yeah.
That show. To buy it on DVD, I have an original copy. It goes anywhere from $125 to almost $250 because it's out of print, and the only company that it's like the only company that. Yeah, that was. Man, that thing there is worth if you have a copy, it's worth a pretty penny. And there's a lot of things.
Going to sell them.
Right.
I cherish those things. Hey, I interrupt you. 24. One, Darius Munchausen gave us a $1.49 sticker.
Hey, how are his kids? I heard they're sick.
Darius,
nobody got that joke.
Oh, what
man.
the fuck? Darius, for you.
Munchausen by proxy.
There you go. This is for you, Darius.
The other day, I went up to my girlfriend. I said, I'd like a little pussy. She said, me too. Mine's as big as a house. You see, she wanted a little one because hers was as big as a house.
Thank you, Darius, for the $1.49 super sticker. I have no idea.
The joke was worth $1.49.
Well, I got the joke while I was looking. Oh, now I get it. Munchausen. Nice. Got it. But Munchausen.
I'll Xerox them. You can read them on the way home.
Yeah, I've got 15, 16 years medical. I should have got the joke immediately. But a mutual friend of yours and mine is in the chat right now. Christopher is here, and Christopher says, "Ask Chuck if he ever wrote a Roger Corman. Would it be sci-fi, biker, or barbarian?"
Actually,
did you ever write for him?
I did write a treatment for Roger Corman.
Wow.
He got the
Thanks,
rights.
Chris.
He got the rights to there's an imitation Forbidden City in Peking that they film movies in.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Forbidden City is forbidden. You can't film there.
Right.
So, and he got the rights to film there for like 2 weeks. And so they were looking around for people to write a story that would fit in the Forbidden City.
How did he do that?
I don't know. That guy could make a deal with anybody. So I wrote this treatment, and it was like, thanks, but no thanks. I don't know. I had to write within a budget, and I had to have like 4 female leads and have a lot of fighting.
2017.
Yeah,
female leads.
Trust me, Roger wanted it there for sexiness, not for.
Oh yeah. It was going to be,
real females.
Yeah, it's going to be 4 strippers on an adventure in ancient China or whatever, But
Ooh,
I wrote it up, but it didn't meet muster. Probably didn't fit their as much as I scaled it down, I still couldn't meet the budget they had.
Chris responded with what?
But
Chris
speaking
will be
of
joining
Roger
the
Corman,
show. He's going to be on tomorrow. He's going to join our panel tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing him. I haven't talked to him in a while. I don't know if you talked to. Is the group still talking? Our secret group that we don't talk about? I haven't been in there in so long. Is it still in existence? We don't talk about Fight Club? All right, never mind.
Wow. That went over like my Munchausen joke.
No, I was talking about that private group that we were in. That private group we weren't supposed to talk about. It's secret. On Facebook. It was that Facebook group. Mike was the head of it. Our friend Mike, political artist. Oh my God, Chuck, you need to get checked for Alzheimer's. Jesus Christ. It's like when I called you that day. I said, hey, it's Gary Excel. Gary who? Gary who?
Hey, I live in Florida. I get calls every 5 minutes from people trying to sell me car warranties, health insurance. I've taken to answering the phone. I now answer the phone, hola.
Hola, buenos dias, ¿cómo está? You usted?
And the automated systems don't recognize that, or they start talking to me in Spanish. So,
that'll be
right
funny
there
all
with
by
you.
itself.
Yeah,
and just keep saying "K."
Yeah.
Hola, ¿cómo está? ¿Tien?
Yeah, V Gates is another one that throws them.
Yeah.
So,
V Gates is Eden.
yes.
Going Gansey.
Man.
So yeah, it's like basically. We're coming up on an hour and a half. I know we got to start wrapping up here. I don't want to keep it too long, Chuck. But I know that there's got to be some good questions left in these guys.
I got 24? A question.
All right, throw it out there, 24.
Yo, Chuck, did you see what Marvel just pulled a couple days ago?
What have they done now?
All right. Check this out. Now they come with their transgender female superhero.
Oh yeah.
No.
That looks like April O'Neil, which is the chick that runs with the Ninja Turtles. if there's a picture, but you want to know what's the greatest thing about this individual, about her power?
Yeah.
She has the power to switch.
Of course she does.
So she's not even a committed transgender person.
Oh, yeah, well, it's
or he or whatever.
Right. But it's
wow.
It's the power set. So
wow.
Just want to know what you shit. Just want to know what you thought about that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, and the character's name is Escapade.
Oh.
Just being real. So just
at least he's new and not based on changing another character. Way to go, Marvel. Yeah.
We have to give him credit for coming up with a new stupid character instead of
yes.
an old one.
Thank you for not ruining an established character this time.
Right.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's just pandering to an ever smaller audience all the time.
Yeah.
And then she's a mutant, so she's a part of like going to be like this is X-Men territory here.
Well, the thing is, if they had done this exact same character in the 80s,
right,
we would all loved it. But now, because we know we're being lectured to, that there's a
Right.
purpose behind creating it, all you can do is be offended.
Right.
Say, why are you doing this? It's like when they made Storm head of the X-Men, Black Woman head of the X-Men. We were all like, cool. Storm deserves that. Storm's a cool character. We love Storm.
Yeah.
If they did it now, it would be in your face. She's black. She's a woman. You have to love it. And of course, the character they would create for it would have no personality, be a total token. Of course. Time.
Now, this
Like
is another
Naomi, right?
person I wanted to bring on today. He had to work today. Is 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser. Big fan of
What's
you.
up, Nick?
He's a
What's
very
up, Nick?
big fan, Chuck.
Thank
He
Nick,
says,
Nick.
panel of legends. Glad you're at least in the chat. Sorry you're not here, buddy.
Yo, that's my man right there.
See you, buddy.
AKA Nick the Dick. You know what I mean?
Hey, and this one is for you, Nick. Toxic masculinity.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Pizza guy's
And
here.
this one's for you too, Nick.
You pompous, stuck-up, snot-nosed, English, giant, twerp, scumbag, fuckface, dickhead, asshole.
Dang.
I have a lot of little videos I
love
keep
that
around just for this show, buddy. All right, 24. Did you want to ask some more there?
No, actually, I just want to know what he thought about this. The reason why I asked about this particular character was just the simple fact of what it was and how the power to switch. Thought it was interesting. Hey, let's ask Chuck. So I was like, shit.
Yeah. Like I said, they did the character in the 80s. We all loved it. But now it's
right.
They're just hectoring us.
There you go. Yeah. I'm good. If I think of something else, I'll get back with you here in a minute. But I'm good.
Yeah. How does that power help you in a battle against a supervillain? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Yo, they didn't, man, they didn't even explain. It was just like, yo, for real, it's the power to switch. And I was like, this is fucked. And I was like, all right. But actually, this is a new thing. This came out like I think it was yesterday. So yeah, this is like.
Yeah.
Well, if the male version gets lost, he can turn to a female and ask for directions.
That's fantastic.
Oh.
That's why you get paid to be a writer there.
And that's a fair play joke. That's making fun of both sexes.
Right.
I'll give you, actually, my favorite sexist joke of all time was told by Roseanne Barr on David Letterman. She said, men can read maps better than women. And you heard the audience, ooh. She goes, no, hear me out. Men can read maps better than women because only the male mind can conceive of 1 inch as 100 miles. I laughed my ass off, and I'm like, never going to forget that joke. What a great joke.
Nice.
But we got another person that popped in here. Is our Vegas friend, Dork Knight / Danny Ballard, big comic book nerd. He's the one that was talking about that said that George Perez died on Comic Book Day. And he's I was unaware that he wanted to be on today, so I brought him in. So go ahead, Dork. Did you have some questions for the man?
Well, I asked most of them in the chat already.
Well, I ignored most of your questions.
Oh, you did? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
We're not super chat, so.
I mean, well, you put them up on the screen, but so
I didn't. Martin did.
So, well, it's kind of backtracking, but when you guys were talking about, I think it was Loki that brought it up, where how the business is more about entitlement or and I made the comment like who you know or who you blow back, and how they had to like check boxes now or like the minority casting and things like that. So you created correct me if I'm wrong, I'm fairly certain you created Birds of Prey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so do you
And I have a
think
question to your question, though. And I really think this has to be true. And you correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck. Who you know, who you blow. But back in the good old days, you only blew somebody because you wanted to, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, Danny.
Oh my
Exactly.
God.
There you go,
Amen.
my man.
So
now it's changed. Now it's changed. So
it's
do you
different.
think that you would have either one so you come up with the idea, you come up with the story, you come up with the like the characters are already there, but you bring them all together and you've got a team. Do you think if you pitched that idea that they would have let you run with it and write it, or they would have been like, hey, we're going to let this woman do it instead because it's a team of women and it'd look really good for women empowerment? And like, what are your thoughts on that? I'd be really curious.
Well, for the sake of accuracy, the Birds of Prey concept was created by Jordan Gorfinkel, who was an editor at DC.
Okay.
And he approached me with it. And,
He did. Okay.
It took him a while to convince me because I didn't see it.
Okay.
Black Canary just had a title canceled,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, this is what makes these two work. And he says, they work. Trust me, they're similar enough and different enough. There's a chemistry already built in. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't see it, but he kept pestering me. And then finally I wrote a one shot. And about 6 pages into it, I said, wow, he's right. That this works. They do have a chemistry here. And he came up with the idea that they wouldn't meet for a long time. And that kind of made the book different. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if I proposed it today, I would have to be a woman. I mean, they're not going to let a guy write a book about two women. They're not going to let a white guy write a book about a Hispanic.
And
I write a book of a martial
right.
arts.
And further to the point, I mean, I know what they're trying to do, but shouldn't go to the most talented person for the job. I mean, I wish there was a way people could do this where they never meet you, they never see you. You know what I mean? And there's no external judgment whatsoever. In that way, it's just a complete like in scientific studies, it's a completely blind study. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it's hurting. I mean, it's obviously hurting the comic book industry. You guys were talking about that earlier, that everything that's coming out now is trash. It's just woke trash,
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons I never went to company Christmas parties. I never went to the Marvel Christmas party. I never went to the DC Christmas party. I just wanted to be the guy that wrote comics. I didn't want to, because I've got a big mouth. I would say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and so that's why I stayed out of all that stuff. And that's right. Nothing else should be considered than the merit of your work and how the readers respond to it. If readers buy your stuff, then you should have a job. If you're selling comics, and that's what kept me in the business, I was selling comics, then they kept me around. Even when they didn't want me around, final days at DC, boy, they would have loved to have fired me, but they couldn't justify it because I had 4 monthly titles that sold consistently well.
Chuck,
So
is
they
it
couldn't get
true
rid
that
of
they
it.
killed Bane because of you?
Well, they've killed everybody, so I can't take it personally.
They can always come back when they recycle.
I did take it personally when they killed every Nightwing villain and then nuked Bloodhaven. That I took personally. Because that's like a big FU. That's like, we don't want to deal with anything you created anymore. So we're wiping you out of continuity.
Hopefully we're going to see a big change in that shit. As we continue on into the red wedding of 2022 with AT&T slaughtering.
I heard yesterday was just fucking crucial.
2 people.
Yeah.
2 people were fired yesterday.
Hey, okay, since we're Chuck, what do you think about David Vaslov coming in and trying to overhaul, change out DC and Warner Brothers and everything? How do you think it'll be for the better?
Yeah, I just think they're cleaning up the house so they can put it up for sale.
And I
we're wondering that too. We talked about that on the show previously.
I've known that for about the last year and a half.
Yeah, when they kicked them out of their own offices,
right.
And people were arguing with me saying, well, a lot of people were working from home, not in the entertainment business. They're all getting them to come back.
Right.
Nobody's working from home in the entertainment business anymore. They're bringing them back. They kicked them out of their office because they needed their office for somebody more important. And this is a town where you park your car is important. I mean, not having an office means you aren't worth shit anymore. And we're getting ready to license you out. I just think they're going to license them out. And they're not. There's not going to be a DC Comics. You'll be able to license Batman. You'll be able to license Superman, and to the highest bidder.
Well, that's where the money is.
Well, AT&T needs money, man. They need money.
They are
look
a
what happened to
money-making
CNN.
company.
Look what CNN Plus, they knew the hammer was coming down. So they came up with this scheme. Well, we're going to create a streaming service to give ourselves a whole bunch of money before the hammer comes down.
Yep.
And that's what that was all about.
Yeah. Hey, Lord Thoth has a question for you. You stated you'd like to write Western classic comic character. Who would that be? I love characters like Jonah Hex, Batlash, Two Gun Kid, Kid Colt. Your thoughts?
Jonah Hex is like 2 on the money for me now.
Right.
But Batlash should be fun to write because it's a more lighthearted, it's a happier Western. But yeah, I mean, I got to write the Lone Ranger. I was happy as a pig in slop. I love the Lone Ranger, so I'd go back to the Lone Ranger any day of the week.
Would you ever consider doing a fictionalized version of real life, Western characters per se?
Sure,
Billy the Kid or something. Wyatt Earp, or whatever things.
I did a Wyatt Earp mini for Moonstone a few years back.
Oh wow!
But yeah, I'd do any of that stuff. I'd love to do a graphic novel about Tom Horn.
That was
character.
Steve McQueen.
He made a movie about it with Steve McQueen.
Yeah, he's one of the great Western heroes that really isn't as well remembered as Billy the Kid or Wyatt Earp or Bass Reeves.
Yeah, I'd love to see a resurgence.
It's like Tom Horn. I'm trying to remember. He was hanged at the end.
Yeah, he was. He started out.
He really wasn't guilty, but he was hanged.
No, he was probably guilty, but he got screwed by the Cattlemen's Association. There was nothing on paper that
because he was asked to do what he did.
He was a regulator. He killed cattle rustlers for a living, but there was nothing on paper, and he didn't carry a badge. And when push came to shove, the Cattlemen's Association denied having any association with him.
Oh, so
that's what I mean. That because technically what he did was legal.
Yeah, it was within the law.
And it was legal by writ as well. And that's why I always thought it was sad that the tragedy of his death. And of course, also as I recall, the rope wasn't long enough, and he ended up choking to death.
The other aspect of it was, and this isn't in the movie, is that no one would pull the switch on him. There was no one in the West who would hang Tom Horn because he was such a revered hero. This is a guy who got Geronimo to surrender. He rode into the Apache camp by himself and convinced Geronimo to surrender.
He just gave me goosebumps.
Balls the size of Texas to do that.
Goosebumps.
And then he went up.
Goosebumps.
He went up San Juan Hill with Teddy Roosevelt. I mean, he was all over the place.
He was a Rough Rider. That's right.
Yeah. When it came time to hang him, no one would do it. Now, I'm not pulling the lever on Tom Horn. So they came up with a device that used water. And so when they started running water into the system, it would hit. Once it got to a certain weight, the trap would drop out from under him. And so they start the thing, and everybody's got to wait, and no one knows when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And Tom Horn stands on that thing in this silence, and he starts singing the song, the hymn, "Life is Like a Mountain Railroad." And just as he finishes it, the trap drops.
Wow.
And you couldn't write that. I mean, they didn't have it in the movie because you couldn't believe it, that it actually happened.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I want to see that. I want to see it.
Yeah,
I really loved. What did you think? Did you see that that comment, Chuck, from Dave Bob? Like, I could totally see Ghost Rider on a horse, an Old West Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, the original Ghost Rider was in the Old West. That'd be great.
Yeah.
We kind of got that at the very end of that first movie with Nicolas Cage.
They did. Yeah, I'd write
that version of Ghost Rider.
Sam Elliott. I would love to see Sam Elliott do that.
Yep. I'd be all over something like that.
Yeah, he used to be called Knight Rider too.
Yeah.
Well, that was later after they created the other Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Comic Relief Crusader is like fucking excited you're here, I think.
It's more exclamation points than I can count.
And Dave Bob also said that Old West Ghost Rider.
Yeah, that's it. That's who I was crediting that to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It's good to know you read the chat.
Always.
So, we're wrapping this up now. Any last questions for Chuck here? Let's get it done. Keith, are you back yet?
No.
No, he's not here.
Hey, Chuck, what's your favorite food? Like Italian? What we looking at?
Lately, I've been into Indian food.
Oh shit!
So,
All right.
South Indian or North Indian, because it's all in how it's prepared.
I don't know what the hell it is.
If there's silverware, that's northern. If you're
the yellow,
it's
the yellow stuff and the red stuff and the brown stuff, and the rice. I mean,
and it comes out the same way.
The curry.
I just know I'm the only one in the house that eats it. My family thinks it looks disgusting. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll give you that, but man, it's awesome.
Clarified butter.
What's your favorite Indian dish?
There's a coconut chicken thing at Whole Foods that I like.
Yeah, I like anything with coconut.
Hard to beat.
What do you think of Thai food and/or Chinese food?
I eat a lot of Thai food. Eat a lot of Chinese food. Korean food I don't get. My youngest son, all of his friends are Korean, and he brings stuff.
I like Korean barbecue. That's about it.
He brings stuff home. I'm like, oh my god, what is that?
You went to Italian.
I do have to tell you, I had kimchi, fresh. Well, technically not fresh, but freshly, recently made kimchi, and it was fucking delicious. Stank like hell, but it was delicious.
Yeah, I can't get past that.
Just
This smell like ceviche.
And I'm trying to see, what is this? I need to know. Plus, oh wait, what was your question? Oh, what was your views on the current MCU? He kind of already did that, but do you mind rehashing your thoughts on the current MCU situation?
Yeah, I just think they're going in the wrong. I mean, once Iron Man died, I'm like, okay, I'm over. I'm through with that. Right. So this isn't fun anymore. This isn't Marvel anymore to me. I didn't.
Yeah, I refer to Phase 4 as Kevin Feige shitting the bed.
Yeah. I don't. How do you mess this up? The formula's there. Just do what the comics did. Go back and tell those stories, those classic stories.
I tell you, Chuck. To be honest, I figured it out, man. What it is. Look. You have the fans that sat there and supported a lot of these IPs, these properties, these certain characters. And what it is when Hollywood gets their hands on it, you got the producers, the script writers, and everybody else involved thinking that they could outsmart the people that originated, that originally created these characters and made them popular. They think that they could sit there and write something or create something that they can sit there and pull away from canon and make it even better than the people that fucking created it. And you know what, man?
Right.
That is such the biggest load of shit. And I
blow that shit up, brother. Blow that shit up.
I'm telling you, man. And that's really what it is. And I'm telling you, what makes you think that anybody just think about this. If you remember when the CW did the Christ on Infinite Earths, what makes you think that the script writers can fucking outright Marv Wolfman? Get the fuck out of here. You can't do it.
Right.
Yeah, all these guys really do. And I am curious what you think about that. They really think that they can do better than the original.
And that's with everything. You see it with Halo. They're like, yo, we don't got to play the game. We don't got to know what the fuck the story's about.
Yeah, I get you, 24. What do you think of that, Chuck?
Well, I mean, Halo's a great example because Halo, the imagery's awesome. I don't know. I don't play Halo. I don't know anything about Halo. All I know is from the look of it, I want to see a Halo movie. I want to see a kick-ass, badass, action-packed Halo movie. Why don't I have that? Why hasn't that happened?
Because Paramount's dumb and CBS is dumb. And instead we got stuck with this shit instead of some like Peter Jackson trilogy that could have been awesome. We get stuck with Hot Pocket and Mullet Girl and all this bullshit that has absolutely nothing to do with Halo.
Yeah, but I agree. It's money. It's laying there. Why didn't you just do what the audience wanted to do? I mean, I can name a dozen directors, a dozen screenwriters who could have just made magic with that material. And as I said, I don't know anything about it. I don't really know anything about it. Just in the visuals. And the same thing with comics. Comics are a cheapjack, lowbrow medium that these characters managed to survive in for decades. Decade after decade with a loyal readership that followed them and outgrew them, and another patch of kids came along and adopted them, and it went on and on and on for decades. And it's like these clowns get a hold of it. They're true to the source material at the beginning, and all they're making is money. The truckloads of cash are backing up to their house as far as the horizon. And then once they have the success, they go, hey, look what we did. Well, you didn't do anything. So, Steve Ditko, Don Heck, Stan Lee, Marv Wolfman, they did it. You didn't do it. So do what they did. Just keep doing what they did. And now, but they want to go off on tangents because they know better, and they don't. And the numbers are showing that. The numbers are showing the audience is starting to erode for this stuff.
It's funny. Like, let's say, like, even in the MCU, when they were asking you, like, what did you think of that? It's funny with Doctor Strange, and I'm just gonna say this one little piece, and I'm done. It's funny how today I just read that the people that wrote the scripts didn't bother to watch WandaVision. They didn't care. So how the fuck are they trying to explain Wanda and how she's such a big part of Doctor Strange 2 when the script writers and everyone didn't even bother to watch the show? So it's kind of like they don't even give a fuck about what's going on within the canon of their own shit.
Right.
And it's like, damn. So
Is that true? Was that
dude? Look it up, man. Yeah, man. I wouldn't even sit here and lie to y'all. And
or were you just like, well, it could have been hyperbole because Vision wasn't in it or wasn't mentioned, so that's why I'm.
No. They actually, yeah, they it was.
They literally said they never.
Yeah, they did. Like,
that's
we
terrible.
We didn't care to watch it.
They work with flashcards. They get hired on to do a show. Oh, what's Star Trek? Okay, give me the flashcards for Star Trek. This is what's important. This is what's important. They don't actually watch. They don't actually know. They don't actually learn anything. They just use flashcards to get them through making the content.
And if they want to be that lazy, I say this all the time. Why not just hire a consultant, like some nerd who's watched it all, who can answer their questions, or
because they would hire the wrong
give them
nerd.
advice.
That's right. That's right.
The wrong nerd.
Well, you remember
that right there,
Chuck,
that right there.
When they started the Kurtzman Trek TV stuff, when he talked about having Star Trek school, he had people who didn't know anything about fucking Star Trek teaching that school of Star Trek. And it's like, what are you doing? Bring Ira Bear in. Bring what's his name? Ron Moore.
Okuda.
Moore.
Yeah.
Okuda's they did bring him in.
Understood the technology.
Okuda's a sellout.
Okuda still knows the technology.
Yeah, but
you want people who are drawn to this stuff. I mean, if you're gonna have somebody writing Star Trek, you want somebody that got turned on to Star Trek when they were like 9 or 10.
Yes.
And they know it.
Yes.
It's in their bones. I mean, they just have a feeling for what makes it work and what doesn't, what they like and what they don't like.
Do you know? Did you ever watch the movie with Tim Allen? I can't. Galaxy Quest. Did you ever watch Galaxy Quest? You remember the kid in the basement?
Ever made?
The kid in the basement that knew all the technical manuals. That was like, but excuse me, but this was up. Okay. After all that shit's over, when that kid's like 10 years older than he is in that scene, that's the kid that needs to be making new Galaxy Quest shit.
Right.
That's the kid that needs to go to school to learn all that shit, and he needs to go and make more Galaxy Quest stuff. And instead of going, ooh, you're a toxic fan, you need to hire this guy to be making your shit because he's the one who grew up reading the tech manuals, watching every episode multiple times. He knew what every guest was under the alien mask that they never said. Oh, well, we had this person behind the scenes. He knows all of this shit. That's what they need. Yeah. That's what they need.
I gotta point out, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who gets more excited when they're talking. You or 24?
When it comes to some of this stuff, both of us.
I know.
Absolutely.
Both of you are very passionate about this stuff, and you can hear it in your tonality. And
totally.
And I love
Thank
that.
you.
To be honest,
I like how 24 rolls up on it slow.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Ford
that.
just sounds like he's about to kill somebody.
Yo, appreciate that, Chuck.
I'm going to kill this motherfucker.
Normally, I'm a little bit more high energy, but I'm
appreciate that.
Riding
Chuck.
horses.
24 doesn't run to the court; he walks.
Now, Chuck. Chuck, I wanted you to know that Dork Knight here, the one right below me, he's the one I was telling you about that shut up on medication or from surgery. It went really dark.
Oh wow! You told Chuck Dixon about me and like the
yes,
anesthesia
I told him all about
rants?
you, dude.
Oh god!
And he ran right back off the camera. Oh,
yeah, man.
Nah, come back, man. Come back, man. It's all right.
Yeah,
There you go.
Danny knows I love him. I love him so much.
Yeah.
But
If you didn't give me shit, I would be worried. Yeah.
When he was on that medication, man, I was kind of hoping. This is what I thought, Chuck. I was going to get one of those moments like that little kid. Is this the real world? Kind of thing. No, I did not get that. I got dark and fucking haunting.
like it was psychotherapeutic, like introspective
just,
kind
oh
of.
my God. I was like,
terrible.
I will never fucking do this again. But Chuck, look, we're coming up on the hour mark here. I want to make sure that we promote anything that you want to promote. I'm going to show again the Archaven.
If you go to Subscribestar, you'll get a Two Gun Tigger postcard. So signed by me.
Let me find it again. Here it is. Okay, I'm going to share it right now. Share it. Great.
You just got to sign up and subscribe, and there's
Here
a
you
whole
go.
lot of goodies coming your way, but Two Gun Tigger is just one of them.
I
The
can't
blurry
get-
stuff is only for subscribers. So
I need to take that off and see if that's the actual domain. There it is. Okay. I want the clean domain so I can post it in the chat. Here you guys go. If you want to subscribe, go to subscribe. Go to Subscribestar and subscribe to Chuck Dixon. Here is your link. Don't you fucking laugh at me. Fuck.
La 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 la.
Oh shit!
There you go. Fuck you guys. I got better people than you that want to hate on me. Also, once again, I want to remind everybody: go to Audible. If you have an account with Audible, and I tell you, it's worth it. You get quite a few free books. I think 3 free books a month. This is one of them you can be getting is Levon's Trade by Chuck Dixon. Go right now. Stop wasting your time. I love Audible, man. I really do love Audible. Because I don't have time. I'm always working.
Yeah.
So that's how I read books now. I prefer the unabridged ones. That's the full book, like 8 to 9 hours.
right.
But so often you can't get those. But also go to Archaven. That is archaven.com.
Oh, they're badass over
Check
there.
it out. There's a lot of work by Chuck here that you can be getting. Love this shit. And go to Chuck Dixon's channel. Just look up Chuck Dixon on YouTube. But I did post it earlier, and I'll post it again real quick here.
I'm going to say something real quick about Audible for people. There's another thing through your public library called Libby that's just like Audible. So for people who can't afford it,
Someone's speaking in
Audible.
behind you, Danny.
Oh yeah, it's my aunt. I'm on vacation. I'm actually. This is. Can you believe this is?
Yeah, I
off
saw
of
the
my
horseback
hotspot?
stuff.
Yeah. So she didn't mean to. She probably didn't know I was still on. But anyway, Libby for those who can't afford it, it's through your public library. It's just like Audible.
Cool.
Sorry.
Cool.
And there you go. I'm sharing it now. There you go. Anything else, Chuck, we want to promote before we wrap this up?
Like I said, I'm working on a lot of stuff I can't talk about yet, but next time.
There you go.
And I was going to make fun of you. It's like, it's okay, man. Speech impediments, you can get over them. I like that. I like when I crack you out, Chuck. And I tell people that you read one of my quotes of what I said once a long time ago. And you said you're going to steal it and never give me credit for it. Because you read something I actually said to somebody and you went, that is really good. I want to use that. I'm not going to give you credit for it.
As Nietzsche said, a writer uses his own and his friends' intellects. So.
That's right. But I've always appreciated that you like that quote because I actually said that. It was in the Army. It was something I can't remember if it was this was the one. I could kill you more ways than you know how to die.
Yeah.
And you read that and you laughed at it and you went, I fucking love that.
It is. It's a great line.
But you don't like audiobooks, John. This is my friend John Dustwolfen. Come on, man, give it a break. Buy a fucking audiobook. Stop being a puss.
Well, buy the real book and read it.
Real men, yeah. Real men read books.
Yeah, real men read real books.
And sort of real dudes read audiobooks.
Kindle.
Anyway. I hate Kindle.
Is it really reading? Though,
Hurts my
if it's an
eyes.
audiobook? Isn't that weird? Like I'll talk to friends and they say that they've read like 30 books or whatever. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. And yeah, on Audible. I'm like, but is that really reading though? I mean, what do you guys think? Is it really reading if it's on Audible?
No.
No, it's not. It's not. It's cheating. It's absolutely cheating.
It's reading to you.
Somebody reading to you.
Yeah.
But
I passed 30
something.
books in junior high, and no.
Wait, what?
I passed 30 books in junior high. I'd read more than 30 books when I was in junior high. When I was in junior high, I was reading on a college level. So I love reading.
Yeah, I get you.
I absolutely love reading, not just like little pissy ass books. I was reading like Lord of the Rings when I was 8 or 9 years old. I read Lord of the Rings. But the audiobooks is not the same. But as long as you're enjoying it and you're getting like he was talking about earlier, the unabridged versions, you get an unabridged version of Lord of the Rings. It's like 40 hours you're listening to a book. So if you can put that much time into listening to a book, hell, I'll give you a point for that.
Okay.
I usually only listen to audiobooks if I've already read the book. Because generally when I'm listening to audiobooks, I fall asleep. So
they're very, especially
I want to
listen
listen to a story I already know.
I'll tell you one audiobook I listened to that never got me drowsy was F. Murray Abraham reading one of the stat books. It was Interview with a Vampire, and he did every character voice.
Wow.
And I could not fall asleep during that. I was like, oh my God, I was engaged the whole time. Now, I want to address something because 2 people have asked now a hint. We want a hint, Chuck. Tell us hints.
I can't.
Now, he gave a hint earlier. So
he
I'm
did.
going to remind everybody the hint that you fuckers missed that didn't show up. Yeah, I call our fucking chat fuckers and my friends fuckers. Anybody I like, I call a fucker. It's a military thing. So he hinted that there may be something about Conan in the future. And that is all.
Yes.
There you go. That's all you get. Stop asking.
Yeah, and for those of you that weren't here earlier, that's a misdirect because we're talking about Conan O'Brien.
Yes, the Conan biopic that he's.
That's what I meant.
To.
I thought you guys understood that.
I like the way he does that thing with the eyebrows and his hair. Anybody who's a Conan O'Brien fan knows what I'm doing. Everybody else, fuck you. I don't care. Let's see. Brett had it's not. No, it's not. And you actually take less of the story and intricacies of compared. What the fuck are you talking about? Australians,
man. The same. Audiobooks aren't the same as reading. You got to understand. Goes to a completely different part of the brain. You're interpreting it in a completely different way.
He's in Australia. Everything rotates backwards there. So
no, he's agreeing with us. Yeah.
Rick Owens.
I love you, Brett, man. You're a good dude. I fucking love that dude, man. He's a regular on this show in our
Brett's
chat.
good.
I am probably going to break my prohibition on audiobooks with it. And get fucking Chuck's. Jesus Christ. He's on this show for a reason. Don't talk about getting Terry Pratchett.
I'm going to buy someone else's books.
Chuck Dixon.
Yo.
Mine are shorter.
Come on, John. You're killing me here.
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm going to get us down to normal windows here. Chuck, I really do deeply appreciate it every time you come in. And I still plan to. And I can't remember. I think it was you that fucked it up. We were going to get you and Graham on. And I ended up just getting Graham. You son of a bitch. You fucked it up.
Cool.
I want to get you guys on here because just knowing the two of you is like one of the best things that ever happened in my life. It really is. And
we've got big news coming up about our stuff. So yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll be getting out there together.
When can you, oh my God, will you coordinate with me to get both of you on here?
Yeah, sure.
My God, I would appreciate it, man.
As far as you know, I'll take care of
that. Now, I will say this. I find it odd that your wife doesn't follow me. Well, all my friends' wives follow me. And this
my wife stays as far away from comic book people as possible.
Is that what it is? Okay.
That's what it is. She met enough of them. She said, that's it. I don't want to associate with those people anymore.
Because Julia follows me. And she's awesome. Graham's wife is like the bomb diggity.
Oh yeah, she's great.
I hope to eventually meet your wife one day at a convention if she'll go with you. Did she go with you?
Nope, she's never once.
Oh.
The only time she
What
ever
anything to do with it?
She showed up at a convention one time as a joke. I was appearing with Tom Lyle, and her and Tom Lyle's wife Sue showed up and pretended to be groupies. They embarrassed the hell out of us, and that was their intention. And then they left. Then they went shopping. So.
My God, that is so good, man.
Yep.
Oh, good Lord. All right, guys. I'm gonna introduce. Is Keith back yet? Are you back yet, Keith? Are you back? He's still doing black guy stuff. He's not back.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's there. There he is with his fake wall. He's at the stand. He's at the Improv.
Oh, with being muted too. Yeah.
Yeah, unmute your fucking mic, Keith. Jesus Christ.
Sorry about
This isn't
that.
the first rodeo.
Oh,
Get you back up here next to me.
It's just
We lost
starstruck is
Steven.
all.
Steven had to go. I want to thank Steven. Steven is the reason I created this show, TGIF. And so therefore, he is the third host of this show. And I hate it when he has to leave early. But Chuck, I want to thank you for being here.
Sure
I want to
thing.
thank what a great panel I've had. Even though some of you have been really quiet, I'm not saying any names, Purple. There's been a significant lack of English accent on this episode. I'm sorely disappointed in you, beautiful lady.
I'll do better next time, I promise.
All right. I want to thank Stone Loki for being here. You guys are awesome. Clobby,
Thank you.
I love
Thank
you,
you,
man.
brother.
Thank you for having me, everybody. I'm honored to be here.
It's like we had a
24.
huge weight lifted at some point. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Steven left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're such a dick. And 24, I'm so grateful you were able to make it. Danny, it's okay having you. I like you.
Thank you.
I love you, man. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for showing up.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sorry you didn't. I didn't know you wanted to be here.
Yeah, I
did
think
not
you
know that.
missed the thing in our group chat.
Yeah, I missed it. I apologize.
Yeah.
And it definitely, it's never anything you did. It's simply just never. What is that? Occam's razor, or one of the razors says, "Don't put to nefarious intent what could be attributed to stupidity." And that's my life. That is my life. I overlook
Isn't
shit
that
all
Confucius?
the time. Shut up, 24.
No, Confucius once said, "Man who goes to bed with itchy butt wakes up with a smelly finger." That was
Exactly. But I bring you back up center stage, Chuck, because you're the bomb diggity, yo. I fucking love you, dude. I think you are absolutely one of the greatest writers in the history of comics. Definitely in my top 10. And what you did with Nightwing, I mean, wow,
Oh, man.
dude.
Wow.
You should get a Lifetime Achievement Award for that. I'm going to create.
Yes.
I'm going to create the Keith Loves Comics Award and it's going to be called the Keith Moncrief, but I'm going to put another black dude on there because they all look alike, according to Keith. He's racist, if you haven't heard. He's a black dude. He's racist to get black. No, I'm just kidding. We should have an award that should be given to you, just for what you've given, and for SpongeBob.
Yes.
Because that was good stuff, dude. I don't care. It was better than the cartoon. My daughter read your comics, and of course, when my daughter reads them, I'm reading them.
Sure.
So,
well, thank you for that.
And it's never in a gay way. I'm deeply affectionate towards you, Chuck.
Oh.
And don't you do that? That was so condescending. Thanks for being on here, man. Deeply appreciate you coming on. Look forward to having you on again, especially if you're promoting something. But even if you're not, I want to have you on here because it's always fun to talk to you. And I want to get more old stories out of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
About working in the bullpen, shit like that. What that was like. Because I tell people, I lost my opportunity to work for DC because I refused to move to New York City because I had a kid. I was afraid. I was really afraid.
Yeah.
And I regret it to this day. Biggest regret. And I got a handwritten letter from Denny O'Neil that I shared with him later, way before he died. And I said, I was so thankful for you writing Marvel sent me a typed out printed letter of rejection. I got this wonderful handwritten letter from Denny O'Neil, and I'm like, fuck. But I'm also grateful that I've gotten to work with you, and I want to work with you again. I'm working with Mike Barron right now and with another secret comic I'm not allowed to talk about yet, NDAs and shit. But as soon as I get done with these, man, before I lose my ability to draw, because I am eventually going to lose the ability because of the nerve damage in my neck, I want to work with you on something.
Okay.
And a Western sounds really good to me.
We'll make that happen.
I'm going to talk to you privately about Tom Horn, motherfucker.
Practice drawing.
Dude, Graham Nolan and I did that Q&A, and he hates drawing Predator and fucking helicopters.
Yes.
And they asked what I hate drawing. I said horses, because I just finished a 124-page graphic novel with 88 pages filled with horses of battles, of the Battle of Hastings and the battle at Stanford Bridge. Both battles were depicted in that book. 124 pages. And I said, if I draw a horse again, I hope I die before I start doing it. But now I'm ready to do it because it's a Western.
Yeah, I had a top talent reject something that we want to work together, and I sent him this idea, and he goes, "Nah, it has horses in it." And I'm like, "Man, you don't like drawing horses?" He's like, "No." I was like, "It's such an incredible talent."
It's not just me.
No, it's not just you. It's not just.
But I will do it because I'm actually good at drawing horses. It's just
how about hats? You're good at drawing hats.
Yeah, I love hats, dude.
Hats are tough.
I love drawing guns. I love. I've done covers for a few books that were Western books, and I've always wanted to do a Western comic. Mikey Sutton has another comic, and he's wanting to contract me next year to do a Western with him, but I want to do one with you before I do that one.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, we'll talk about that later. I want to thank you for being here, man. You're an awesome guest. You know that, right? You are. You really are. I think that you're just engaging and fun, and everybody I know on this panel loved talking to you, and I love everybody in the chat loved it. I want to thank the chat. We have one of the best chats going. We share the chat with several of the shows because we're part of a network. And I'm so grateful for our chat because they are really engaging and they do love the guests when we have them on. But with that, we're going to wrap this shit up. And I want to ask you one last thing before I do this. Anything else you want to say, Chuck, before we go?
No, just thanks for having me, lady and gentlemen. It was a blast as always. It's always a good crowd. And always a good bunch of chatters, some great questions, and I'm just a big geek. I like talking to other geeks. What can I say?
I know that's what makes it. That's why you're so engaging, because you're one of us.
Yes.
One of us. One of us.
We don't have to
stick around after the credits, Chuck, just for a few minutes, so we can all say bye to you. But with that, we're going to say bye to the chat in the program, and here is our outro with one of the best theme songs. And even Thomas said that is a really good theme song.
No, whoa, Brett Cohen, $5 super sticker.
Oh shit, Brett Cohen.
And
Brett,
actually,
you get this, Brett. This is your thank you video.
If you think that by threatening me you can get me to be your slave, well, that's where you're right. And I'm only saying this because I care. There are a lot of decaffeinated brands on the market today that are just as tasty as the real thing.
My favorite non sequitur joke ever delivered in a film or bit of dialogue. It's just like, what the fuck is he talking about? Thank you again, and we are out of here, guys. Bless everybody, and see you guys next time. See you tomorrow.
Night, everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Y'all come back now. Y'all come back now.